What we noticed was that when we looked at the new bettors who come into our company and we looked what they placed their first bet on, we found out that esports were quite high in this ranking. It was about 5th or 6th place. So we thought like, okay, so maybe if we improve the product and we sustain this ratio of incoming new customers, well, maybe there is the possibility that esports will be on the 5th or 6th place overall. So that was something we thought like, okay, we should invest into esports, but what we have to do? We have to improve our product because we felt like the product is not on the quality we would like to have, and the uptime of our odds, especially in play odds, of course, was really low. It was like 20-30% of the match. So we wanted to improve this uptime. And that was exactly the time when we met with Odin. We saw the product, and for the first notice, it was obvious that the product had more markets and better uptime. So that was the first thing we were looking for, and it was obvious choice to try the new product. So 6 years ago, I think we started on some position around 10 according to our volume of bets in our sports portfolio, and then we grew quite quickly during the COVID pandemics, of course. But even then, after COVID pandemic ended, we grew like, I don't know, 50% per year. So that helped esports to get on the 4th position according to volume in our sport portfolio. And maybe in the next year it could attack the 3rd position. So it's a really good achievement, and they grew really a lot, much faster than other sports in our portfolio. There are some similarities and some differences between esports customer and traditional sports customer or better. And the differences are usually in the age. So of course the bettors on esports are younger. So when we looked at the newcomer customers, they are usually like 7 years younger when they are betting on esports than they are betting on traditional sports. And also they are, I would like to say, more enthusiastic because they place their average amount money placed on one bet is larger than what is the average amount of better on football or ice hockey or tennis. So even though there are not so many bettors on esports compared to football or ice hockey or tennis in our region, because they are betting more money. Right now, esports are about 7% of our total sportsbook GGR or volume. It's quite similar. Sure, I think like it's the obvious way how to attract younger customers. So we are talking about 20 years or older, of course, but it's like on average 25 years old customers, which are otherwise difficult to attract. Like the best way how to get them to your website or app is to offer best product in esports. Otherwise, it would be difficult because these customers usually will even bet on football or ice hockey or tennis, but their passion is esports. So if you want to get them on your app or to your website, you have to have this good product in esports because that's what they care about. Yeah, so that was the question we asked ourselves when we started with esports product, and we were thinking like, if we get these new customers on esports, will they bet on football, ice hockey, and so on? And we were quite surprised when we saw the numbers that there is not much big difference between this transition between esports and sports. So, for example, if we, I don't know, acquire customers for football, they are likely to bet, I don't know, 50% of their bets on other sports than football. And these figures are almost the same in esports. So if we acquire a customer and his first bet is placed on esports, but probably they will spend half of their money or half of their bets on classic sports. So the transition into the other sports is quite smooth, and it's almost the same as the other customers in classic sports. Yeah, so these eSims are a little bit more similar to, I would say, football or ice hockey or tennis. There is the similarity about the volume of average bet on eSims and football, and it's much closer than to this classic esports. But I would say, like, if you want to attract the customers, new customers, you need to uh, do promotions on the biggest tournaments in Counter-Strike, League of Legends, and so on. But when you have these customers and you want to give them fun anytime, and it's really quick and funny for them, that's why you have these eSIMs. So it's not about acquisition, but it's about this ability to bet and to have a quick result of your actions. Okay, so back in the day, Odin was able to improve our in-play offer. Well, it was the biggest pain point, I think, back then in the time that we have only a few number of markets and the uptime of the odds was about 20 or 30%. And when we integrated Odin, we get much more markets. I would say like from 2 truly in-play markets, we improve into maybe 20 in-play markets in one integration, and in-play uptime was about 80% or something like that, and I think it improved over time as well. But it was the main thing we wanted to improve, because when you are esports customer, when you want to bet on esports and 80% of the time of the match you cannot bet on anything, it's not fun. So that was the main thing we want to improve, and we get it. Well, right now we see that esports are already a big thing in our market, and it's number 4 in all sports. But I think they are going to grow even larger, and what we see is like there will be more games, maybe mobile games, which are not a very big thing in our country right now, according to volume of bets, but it will improve. And I think, like, of course, they will grow much faster than traditional sports, because, well, it's still a lot about young generation. But in time, when even like 50, 60 years old people will bet on esports, of course it will be much bigger. So I think the future is bright.